So just let me very briefly introduce this edition of Corpus Linguistics and Applied Linguistics 2025. This is edition number 5. And I am so happy that this is, I think it's becoming stronger every single year. To be honest, after the pandemic, I thought, this is it. We can just, just move on. But no, I mean, there's so much interest in this type of talks that this has kept us, just engaged and wanting to organize this every year. So this edition is sponsored by the Faculty of Arts and Humanities and by the English Department of the University of Murcia, Universidad de Murcia, Spain, and also by the Education University of Hong Kong. So it is a great addition this year that we can also have the Education University of Hong Kong as co-sponsoring these series of talks. So this particular edition, 2025, is devoted to thinking about the impact of AI on corpus linguistics. And I must say that we are in the best company possible for this type of conversation. So last week we had Dr. Lisa Chang and Dr. Peter Crosswaite. In 2 weeks, we will have Lawrence Anthony and Professor Atushi Mitsumoto from Kansai University, Osaka. And today we have, this is Lawrence, this is the next talk. All right, so today we have Professor Angel Ma from the Education University of Hong Kong. Angel is a professor in the Department of Linguistics and Modern Language Studies. And my understanding is that she is Associate Dean for Research and Postgraduate Studies in the Faculty of Humanities. Her achievements in terms of publications in the last 5-7 years is unbelievable. And to be honest, she has managed to put together so much interesting research on how we can all approach teaching training for corpus-based pedagogy. And Angel is world famous for his approach to corpus-based pedagogy. And I invite everyone to check out her publications on her website. Without further ado, I will stop my presentation now, and please let's welcome Professor Angel Ma. Today, Angel, over to you. You can start sharing, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Pasquale, for your nice introduction. And actually, so can you see the PowerPoint, right? Yes. Okay. Yes. So just maybe I use the full mode. Okay. Good. Okay. Yes. So at first, I'd like to, thank Pasquale, for giving me this opportunity, to meet your audience, because I know that actually you've been, conducting this online seminar series for the last past 5 years, right? And for me, actually, I also started my own online, workshop series in 2020. But I think we got maybe slightly different audience. Okay, yeah. So I'm eager to meet, the audience, Pasquale's audience. Okay, all right. Okay. So this is a title. We focus on one type of AI, so multimodal generative AI, and then try to combine multimodal generative AI with corpus-based language pedagogy, which we've been trying to develop in the past few years. And then we're going to see how this combination can influence shape teacher development and also lesson design. I think lesson design is an important part of language teachers development, right? Okay, so this will be today's focus. Okay. Actually, our goal, I think, similar, to Pasquale. Why do we, organize, free online, corpus-based workshops? Our goal, is to, help, language teachers, no matter what kind of, teaching context you are, from primary, secondary, tertiary, settings, you should be able to use, corpus technology as a useful teaching tool. Okay. Okay, so this is actually the outline. So this study is based on the recent data we collected from our Corpus-based language pedagogy workshops. Okay. So introduction, literature review, methodology, results discussion. So it's quite a standard, you know. And the introduction, I will just give you some, introduce you some, key terms. Okay. Well, I guess if you have followed, Pasquale's workshops for, I think you should be quite familiar with this, terminology, right? It's a corpus or corpus technology. But here, what I want to highlight is, our approach is slightly different from the traditional, like data-driven learning. Data-driven learning was raised initially by, Tim Jones, right, in the 1990s. But I think actually, data-driven learning traditionally focus, on language learners directly, right? And this explains why, after so many years of DDL, still many, frontline language teachers, those teaching in a secondary school or the primary schools, they know very little about the corpus technology, right? So I started thinking about how can we, for example, like try to, make, ordinary teachers who do not have corpus, expertise, to learn and use, corpus tools as useful, tool to facilitate teaching. So you can see that our approach is slightly different from the DTL. But actually, in essence, I think, same, So we start from a corpus. So this is a corpus. Everybody know, here what a corpus is, right? It's a large, authentic language database. And actually, before the existence of AI, corpus linguists, have compiled lots of, corpora, But nowadays, AI, they just collected all the corpora together and make it super, powerful, right? So in this case, actually, in this context, we can see that Corpus actually is the predecessor of AI. But the two are also quite different. For me, I think for many of you, perhaps you kind of noticing that okay, when students are started to rely on AI, there were many drawbacks, right? Disadvantages. Students become lazy, they just just can copy and paste answers provided by the AI, right? So in some word, I think if you just over reliance on AI, it's kind of associated with passive learning. And however, the traditional corpus learning is different. So I mean, you have to, for example, like still go through the authentic language examples, and then you do some like summary, right? So this kind of like inductive learning is involved, right? So I mean, corpus learning actually can promote like deep learning, right? And it is often associated with like autonomous learning as well. So that's why our solution is we try to combine corpus technology with AI. Actually, to combining CBLP with AI, our workshop themes in the past 2 years. Okay, so for those who are not familiar with corpus-based language pedagogy or CBLP, I just give you a very brief introduction. So where is CBLP derived? It's kind of a TPAC. I think maybe you can start from how TPAC is derived. Okay, I think in the 1980s, Lee Schulman proposed one concept: pedagogic content knowledge. To be a teacher for any subject, you have to know familiar with the content, right? The subject. And you also need to some pedagogy, so it's pedagogic content knowledge. And then I think in 2006, I think Mishra and Nicola, they added technology to the PCK. Then they created TPAC. So actually, you can see that CBLP, language-based language pedagogy, can also be created in the same using the same analogy. If we combine like corpus technology with language pedagogy, we got CBLP. So in essence, CBLP cuts across corpus technology and language pedagogy. It is a kind of subdomain of TPAC. specially designed for language teachers. Okay, right. So this is CBLP. Okay, CBLP can guide teachers' pedagogic integration of Corpus technology. So I think actually, because earlier I mentioned, traditional DDL, they put too much emphasis, on learners directly, and they sort of, ignored language teachers. You can see that our CBLP, our attention is on language teachers, and we try to, develop their pedagogic, knowledge for how to integrate Corpus technology into the teaching. So we define CBLP as ability to use the technology of corpus linguistics to facilitate language teaching in a classroom context. You can see that, right? So far, I think we can identify, two lines of research related to CBLP. In the first line of research, you can see that usually, we provide, CBLP teacher training programs, to pre-service or in-service language teachers. Okay. And the other, line of research is, we try to test the effectiveness of CBLP on students. And okay, so by these, studies, but you can see that usually in these CBLP studies, the most of these studies focus on, university students or tertiary level. Okay, well, I think actually it's quite convenient for university teachers because they know about Corpus technology, right? They can access students, right? So it's quite easy for them to conduct CBLP research. This is not the case maybe in like secondary or primary school settings. So we need actually teacher professional development or TPT, featuring CBLP so that it can be implemented in different educational settings, to those primary and secondary school teachers, not just limited to, tertiary, university teachers. Because, when we provide training, to teachers, usually, we can maybe frame it as like, teacher professional development. However, traditional, teacher professional development programs are quite costly and inaccessible to most teachers, right? So you have to travel, okay, and the research gap. You can see that even in the past few years, we try to integrate AI with CBLP. Well, you can see that mainly we just focus on text-based AI. You know, very little research has been conducted regarding how multimodal generative AI can enhance CBLP. So this would be what we are going to tackle in our study. So in our study, we're going to design an online TPT, teacher professional development programs comprising AI-enhanced CBLP training for TESOL teachers. These TESOL teachers, mostly, they are non-native speakers of English. And we also try to explore, the affordances of multimodal Gen AI in supporting CBLP and lesson designs, because we believe, lesson design ability is an important part of teachers, teaching abilities, or an important part of the, professional development. Okay. Okay. So here, maybe we just focus on, a few another key terms. Teacher professional development actually is a kind of, lifelong, process for teachers, right? Okay. We need continuous development, right? Okay. So that we can, serve our teachers, serve our students better, right? And research, relate to research on TPT. TPT research shows that, TPT, can enhance teachers' TPAC and also the lesson plans, the ability to design lesson plans. And recently, especially for example, like Peter, published, quite, I think very important paper, 2 years ago. And in this paper, they argued, Corpus and AI should be combined together. They actually complement with each other, right? Okay. So we think actually we also need this kind of TPT programs where we should combine integrate a Corpus with AI together, and the focus is on teachers' TPAC ability, especially the lesson design abilities. Okay. Oh, earlier when I introduced my CBLP, you already know what it is, right? It's kind of specific specialized TPAC tailored for language teachers. But corpus literacy is another key term related to CBLP. Corpus literacy actually is a base for using corpus technology, essential for helping teachers develop the pedagogy skills to teach with corpus. Corpus literacy actually is not new. As early as in 2006, a German linguist Mukherjee, tried to define, what corpus literacy is. It is ability to use corpora for language analysis and learning. Again, I think actually, the emphasis is on learning rather than teaching. And it comprised five components: understanding, corpora search, how to search in our corpus. You can analyze the corpus data, concordance lines, the advantages corpora, the limitations of corpora. Actually, these are very important, right? If you have a thorough understanding, of corpus literacy, and then this provides a base for you to integrate corpus technology into your teaching. Okay, since 2020, we have provided, free CBLP training or corpus-based workshops, for over 8,000 pre and in-service teachers from 800 schools and institutions. And also we collect some research data. Here, I'll just share with you, some of the papers we published. I think this is the very first paper we published. We try to theorize, try to test, also the effectiveness of CBLP. In this article, and we put forward a two-step CBLP training model. And so in step one, we focus on training, teachers' corpus literacy. And then in step two, we try to train their pedagogic skills. Okay. In this study, I think we used TESOL student teachers. And then in a follow-up case study, we focused on two in-service teachers. We invited them, to attend our workshops, and then implemented, design a CBLP lesson, and also implemented CBLP teaching in real classrooms. Okay, and we found actually teacher CBLP learning and practice can mutually benefit each other. And in our recent study, which just has been just published in Recall, and again, we focus on TESOL teachers, and we focus on their corpus literacy, CBLP, and language learning self-efficacy. Okay, self-efficacy, I think it means, your self-perceived ability to learn a language independently, right? And so TESOL teachers, corpus literacy, CBLP, and then the language learning self-efficacy can predict the teaching self-efficacy. For example, like it means actually, the perceived, confidence in conducting successful teaching. So this, I think this teaching self-efficacy also is quite important. It's a key concept in, teacher professional development. So we found actually, after receiving, the TPAC training, and those TESOL teachers can enhance, improve the teacher self-efficacy in instructional strategy, and also engage students. And our recent study, I think we have just submitted to a journal, and our funding is that multimodal AI can make CBLP lessons more engaging and attractive, right? So these studies have laid a foundation for our current study, and then we're going to uniquely focus on multimodal AI. Okay, for some of you, I think maybe you are aware of this. And as I think also Peter mentioned, this special issue for core. We started I think this special issue, I think in 2024 October. I think now, we're very happy, all the articles have been published or in the final stage of production. But when we look at this, you can see that the theme is to combine, CBLP with AI. You can see that when you look at the topic, they uniquely, primarily focus on, text-based, AI tools like Corpus chat, I think, which Lisa and Peter introduced last week, right? And for example, like this article, they also focus on large language models. I think it's similar to ChatGPT. And this is ChatGPT scaffolded CBLP. This is a ChatGPT. This is AI chatbots, again, text-based. And then this is AI integrated. Then it's again, it's a text-based AI. So the gap is there's limited focus on multimodal AI tools. And I think actually Dr. Bing Zhou, also is calling for a special issue on multimodal AI, how multimodal AI can influence language learning and teaching. Okay. And so actually reflects, that means that we researchers, we should maybe, try to pay more attention to multimodal AI tools. And in our study, we're going to see how multimodal AI tools can enhance CBLP. Okay, now let's review a brief, about multimodality in the AI. So multimodality, that means we can, provide, different input types of different, input in different modes to our students, like verbal, images, videos. This multimodal input actually can enhance students' communication written skills, can facilitate student engagement, can empower learners with confidence and motivation. And recent, AI research that integrate a multimodal AI shows that it can help teachers to generate ideas, provide visual aids, and can cater for diverse student needs. It can also facilitate engaging students in enhancing language learning. However, as we mentioned earlier, most of existing AI TPT programs focused on text-based AI tools, while multimodal AI tools were largely overlooked. Okay, and here there's another key concept which I would like to introduce briefly here, the multimodal Gen AI literacy. When we talk about multimodal Gen AI literacy, I think we should, talk about Gen AI literacy first. And so the formation of multimodal Gen AI literacy is based on our article published last year, where Peter is also a co-author. Here, we identified 6 constructs, for conceptualizing language teachers' Gen AI literacy. For example, they have to, have a full understanding of the benefits and limitations of the AI. They know how to, formulate prompts. They know how to evaluate, the responses, produced by Gen AI. And they know how to use Gen AI as a tool for student assessment. And they are aware of the ethic issues associated with the use of Gen AI. So based on this 6 construct, in our, forthcoming, article, we developed a new concept, multimodal Gen AI literacy. So basically, it's based on this 6 construct, Gen AI literacy. Okay, so we're going to use this scale in the current study. Okay. So in our study, we got 4 research questions. How do TESOL teachers' corpus literacy, multimodal Gen AI literacy, and CBLP influence the TPT, teacher professional development through the multi-Gen AI enhanced corpus training? To what extent can, multimodal Gen AI enhanced corpus training program improve TESOL teachers' corpus literacy, multimodal Gen AI literacy, CBLP, and TPT? And how do TESOL teachers integrate multimodal Gen AI to enhance the CBLP lesson plans? And how do TESOL teachers perceive the experiences of learning and designing multimodal GenAI enhanced CBLP lessons? Okay. So this is our theoretical model. So here we got, 4 constructs: corpus literacy. It will influence directly corpus-based language pedagogy. And then multimodal GenAI literacy will also, influence corpus-based language pedagogy. Corpus literacy will also has a direct effect on teacher professional development, and so does multimodal GenAI literacy. Okay, and then CBLP will directly influence TPT. Okay. Okay, so around 200 TESOL teachers from different countries, regions, attended our online TPT programs. Most they are pre or in-service teachers studying in MA TESOL programs. Sometimes they may be just practicing teachers. Generally speaking, they are new to corpus technology and they have limited experience in AI for teaching. First, we're going, we used our 2-step, training model, as I mentioned earlier, right? So step 1, we focus on, the literacy, the corpus literacy and the multimodal GenAI literacy. We provide them with online workshop training, and then they can also view some, instructional videos, very short, 5 to 10 minutes. And we have a dedicated website. And they can also maybe have some hands-on searches on free corpora and multimodal GenAI tools. And step 2, our focus is on the pedagogy skills, how to integrate both multimodal technology and corpus technology into the lesson design. And in step 2, we provided opportunities for those participants to learn individually and also collaboratively. We provide them with lots of video sample lessons in textual format and in video format, and then we ask them to show them how to design CBLP lesson in 4 steps. So in step 1. And we encourage teachers to test their target students' knowledge to identify the knowledge gaps. And in step 2, students can conduct some like hands-on corpus searches, right? In step 3, they can do some inductive discovery based on the observations of those concordance lines. And step 4 is the teachers will provide target students with lots of opportunities to use a target language, like oral interaction, pair work, group work, or or independent written work, okay, or writing. Okay. And also, we encourage them to form groups and design CBLP lesson. And then, they can post the lesson, on a Moodle, and then receive peer comments. Based on the peer comments, they further revise the lesson design. Okay. And we believe, after this 2-step training, they will participants will improve the competence in designing AI enhanced CBLP lessons. Okay. Okay. Now methodology. We had more participants. However, only 104 participants completed both pre and post surveys. So we're going to use data from these participants. We used survey to measure the 4 dimensions. So corpus literacy, CBLP, multimodal GenAI literacy, and teacher professional development. Okay. And so they are the number of items, the source, and also some sample items. Okay, right. Now data analysis. For answering RQ1, we performed partial least square structure equation modeling. And for answering, okay, so maybe just let me RQ1. How do TESOL teachers See, so actually RQ1, basically we try to verify our model, right? Theoretical model, we have 4 constructs, we also suggest some hypotheses, right? Okay. Now RQ2, to what extent can multimodal GenAI enhance corpus training program, improve TESOL teachers corpus literacy, multimodal GenAI literacy, CBLP and TPT? We performed one-way repeated measures on maneuver, and then follow up one-way repeated measures ANOVA as post hoc tests to measure participants' improvement across the 4 constructs. Okay. And for answering RQ3, we collected altogether, 11 multimodal GenAI enhanced CBLP lesson design. Because the group lesson design altogether, these 11 lessons were contributed by 44 participants. So it's not like 4 or 5 participants for one lesson. And we use 12 marking criteria. The total score is 60 points in total. Okay, so these are the 12 marking criteria. Okay, and 2 researchers independently coded all the lessons, and there's a high reliability. Okay, between the 2 independent coders. Now, for answering RQ research question 4, how do TESOL teachers perceive the experience of learning and designing, multimodal GenAI enhanced CBLP lessons? We conducted group interviews. In the interview, we focus on how AI can enhance CBLP lesson design, and then we perform qualitative semantic analysis. We also perform intercoder reliability, okay, which is quite good. All right. Now, this is a pre-measurement. Before the training, we invite them to do the pre-survey. Among the 4, I think 5 hypotheses, actually only one, it's not, doesn't work, okay? CBLP, you can see that CBLP, cannot contribute to TPT before the training, okay? All the other, past coefficients were significant. You can see that, right? Now, this is the post-measurement. After training, we, invite them to do the post-survey. You can see something different. You can see that now CBLP, has a direct effect, to TPT, right? It's also significant. However, the corpus literacy, previously it was significant. Now it's insignificant. Well, actually, I think this shows that, before the training, and you can see that the CBLP actually has a lower score. The students, okay, those participants, they already, have maybe some corpus literacy, certain level of corpus literacy, also multimodal general AI literacy and TPT. But here, CBLP is the lowest, okay? Now, after the training, you can imagine they have, significantly improved the CBLP, and then the pedagogy can contribute to the teacher professional development skills. Actually, this makes sense, right? Okay, it shows actually, after training, the pedagogy, becomes one of the, key factor that can contribute, teachers, professional development. Okay, now let's look at the maneuver result. Generally speaking, you can see that the result is significant with a large effect overall, large effect, okay, large effect size. Then we conducted maneuver, to examine, the effect for each of the 4 constructs. You can see that. So this is a pre-measurement. You can see that CBLP is the lowest, right? Okay. And then it has been improved a lot, right? Still the lowest, after the, but it makes sense. We used a 6-point Likert scale, right? And you can see that the effect size all large, but because we only use the pre and the post lesson design survey, so usually the effect size, is larger than the control and experimental group design, okay, because we only use one group design. But understandable, we cannot just divide them into 2 groups, right? Okay, so it's kind of a natural, design, okay. Okay. Now, we use the 12 criteria to evaluate, all these CBLP lessons. And the full score is 60. Okay. And then you can see that in average, I think this multimodal GenAI enhanced CBLP, lessons, have demonstrated, high quality, right? Okay. Okay. And we particularly, paid attention to in what, lesson design stages these teachers, integrated multimodal GenAI. Earlier, I mentioned that I introduced, like 4-step CBLP lesson design model to them. So step 1 is test, provide knowledge, then followed by hands-on corpus search, inductive discovery, and output exercises. You can see that after, participants learn, try to integrate multimodal GenAI into CBLP. Usually, we have more stages like warm up, and then and test, prior knowledge, then hands-on corpus search, inductive discovery, output exercises, and often, they also design some homework for students to further, enhance the learning. Actually, the homework, I think, actually is a kind of like outside classroom, learning opportunities, right? Okay, so these output exercises were conducted during the classroom learning. So that's a difference, okay? In essence, the two are very similar, okay? So you can see that these 4 stages, warm up, test, and output and homework, teachers, prefer to integrate multimodal GenAI. Now you can see the percentages here is higher, right? Okay, that's quite interesting, right? Okay. Okay, and I'll also show you some, real lesson examples. For example, like in this lesson, in the warm-up stage, students, teacher participants use Doubao is a kind of like, AI tool to generate images. They used generate images and, to facilitate, students learning, step 1. So it's basically it's based on the detective Conan. It's a famous Japanese, series, right? Cartoon series. So actually, students created a nice context to help, the target students learn. For example, like a woman lost his purse, and then she reported, this case to the policeman. And the police, found, identified 4 suspects. And then, according to, for example, the description provided by the woman, can you identify the theme from the 4 suspects? So all these images were generated by AI, multimodal GenAI. Okay, this actually can, enhance students' learning interest, motivate them. Okay, and also in stage 2, testing prior knowledge. Again, images were generated. And then why do they need to generate images? Just to facilitate these gap filling activities, Okay, yeah. And in stage 5, also teachers designed quite a lot of, engagement output exercises. For example, like participants used GenAI, generated lots of images and designed an image text matching game. Okay, so they have to choose the right picture and then matched with a description. Okay, quite creative, right? And they also sometimes they will use generate a video to help students practice using the target items. And sometimes they will combine, multimodal GenAI tools with other, types of technology, particularly in the output exercise in stage 5. For example, in lesson 1, they designed in stage 5 output exercise, they designed a Kahoot activity. Actually, all these images, were generated by AI, multimodal GenAI. And in lesson 10, ChatGPT can also, be used together in with like multimodal Gen AI to, generate some, activities for students. And in the homework stage, the final stage, participants may also use like Gen AI tool to generate some template to facilitate, like worksheets to facilitate, students' completion of the homework. Okay, so that's another example for homework. Okay, and we analyzed the interview data. We identified, certain themes. First, the learning, of multimodal. This multimodal Gen AI, enhanced CBLP lesson experience can help, participants deepen the understanding of Corpus technology and CBLP. Participants become more skillful in using Corpus technology. They understand the advantage of CBLP and also the challenges of Corpus learning. And, it forced them to, think of strategies to address the limitations of Corpus learning. Okay. They also deepen their understanding of multimodal Gen AI. They become more skillful in using multimodal Gen AI because they have to try lots of prompts, and later discover that actually, for completing a similar task, they can use much less time, to work out the prompts. They understand the advantages of Gen AI to help students, and they understand the challenges of using multimodal Gen AI in teaching, and also learn how to adopt strategies to mitigate these limitations. And they perceive multimodal Gen AI tools as teachers' assistant. It helps them to prepare the lesson, can provide immediate feedback to students, can save them time, and also it can cater for students with varied learning interests. So overall, these teachers improve the teaching abilities. They found actually the students, to be more motivated and also more engaged. And they know how to help with weak students. They know how to assess students' learning outcomes with the help of AI. Okay. Okay. So very quickly. Okay, I know. Okay, so I'll try to finish very quickly. Okay. So our research shows that both Corpus literacy and multimodal Gen AI, has a significant influence on CBLP. Corpus literacy, can not only contribute to teachers' intention to use Corpus technology, as shown in our previous research, but also it turns out to be a crucial indicator for helping teachers develop CBLP. Now, multimodal Gen AI can empower TESOL teacher CBLP lesson designs to make the class more engaging, attractive, interactive, and more fun. And you can see that multimodal Gen AI also has a significant influence on teachers' professional development. Therefore, it is crucial to develop teachers' multimodal Gen AI literacy in the AI era, facilitating their professional development, advancing education, and improve teaching efficiency and learning outcomes. And when we compare, our measurement model, we found actually, the roles of Corpus literacy to CBLP and TPT has been changed. In the pre-survey, Corpus literacy directly influenced TPT, while in the post-survey, CBLP mediates Corpus literacy influence on TPT. So the result highlight the importance of focus on integrating technology, Corpus technology or multimodal Gen AI into pedagogy to enhance TESOL teachers' professional development. Okay. And I think actually our training, personally, I think is quite effective, because we provided like online workshops with them. We invited real experts, right? And then those teacher participants can deepen the learning from, self-studying, the resources we uploaded to our CAP website. And, apart from the two, we also created online discussion forum. So in online discussion forum, they can post questions, they can exchange information. I think, many of our teacher participants also appreciate, the opportunity to learn from each other. Okay. All right. So you can see that overall, I think our study shows that multimodal Gen AI can be successfully integrated into CPLP, and most teachers found this learning experience very positive. So what are our suggestions for TESOL teacher educators? Well, so I wish more TESOL teacher educators or language teachers, teacher educators can join us. We can design more CPLP teacher training programs, right? And we can integrate like multimodal Gen AI with CPLP and prepare multiple learning opportunities and resources. We can encourage collaborative learning and teaching and share their understanding of technologies and teaching practices. Okay, so these are our recent CPLP publications. Okay. And then our references. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, okay, for your patience. Okay. I hope I didn't bore you with my study.
Thank you so much, Angel. And thank you so much for your perfect timing, by the way. So congratulations on
Thank you.
this excellent presentation. Okay, guys. So we have some time for comments and questions. There's a couple of questions already lined up. I'd like to break first, Angel, by trying
Yeah.
to know more a little bit about the kind of corpora that you guys are using in this training. So can you tell us just a bit about, that data side?
You mean what data we have collected?
Yeah, with the type of corpus that you use
Oh,
for the training
we
and the
only
teacher.
use free online corpora because I know that teachers, they always prefer free online resources, right? So like so we just, I think, like Coca is not entirely free, but if you register for Coca, I think you can search for like maybe like 10 or 20 times each day. Okay, like at our university, we purchased a license. In our training, we'll also provide some functional, COCA posts, counts to those teacher participants if they need it. But often, like a scale, completely free, no registration is required. And scale, only has like 3 corpus search functions. So easy, very easy to use. And also like NetSpeak, also very easy to use. But NetSpeak is quite good for maybe like juniors, senior secondary school students, or even maybe even better for like tertiary university students. And also we introduce like Peter's like Corpus Mate. It's all free, you know. Okay. In the past, we also invited Lawrence, to introduce his Ankong. I think in the coming next year, I think we definitely I will invite Lawrence to introduce his AI empowered, Ankong to our teachers. And also, I think Ankong is free, right? Okay. So we just prioritize those free, corpus tools, like Versal Text. We also introduce a Versal Text, also free,
Okay, lovely. Perfect. So a couple of questions here. We have Sean Hall. And the question is, are there any MGAI programs that we should know about and become familiar with?
Okay. Actually, I think, okay, maybe just let me stop sharing. And I think actually what I can do is maybe share, the article. Okay, just wait. I can, because the free access, it's an open access article. Okay, just let me check. Okay, Explorer, right? Exploring, yes, this one. Okay, I can maybe just paste the article, your address in the chat, right? Okay. I just paste a link. Sorry, I just pay. Okay, I think it's can I paste a link. Okay, I only paste a link to be shared with panel head.
Oh, You can also share with the rest of the.
How can I do that? I don't know, because last time I think
Mhm.
Peter encountered the same problem, right?
Oh, I see. I see. I see. I see. I see.
But maybe I just shared again. See, Pasquale, you can
Oh,
help
yeah.
me to
Yeah.
copy and paste it, because open access article, you know, yeah. Or maybe I just download it, you know. Okay.
Okay. I think I already shared this with
Yeah, okay,
everyone.
but it's open access. Okay.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
actually in this article we identified, 6 constructs for generative AI literacy. But I think actually in our forthcoming article, based on this, 6 construct, we just modified the items slightly, and we conceptualized the multimodal Gen AI literacy. But anyway, the ideas behind is the same. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. We have a question from Kat Bennett. Kat, hi. It's so good to see you here. It must be very early for you in the US. So thank you for popping down here. So we have this question. Can you elaborate a little on how much teaching experience on average these participants had? And
You
also there is
mean
a sub question there, but maybe let's answer the first question first, please.
okay? Does it mean that before our training, how much teaching experience they had? Is that the question?
I
Or
suppose
what?
teaching experience like probably number of years
Okay, okay.
in terms
It,
that's
it,
my
it doesn't matter.
understanding.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because our training actually we encourage like the exchange and the cooperative learning between like experienced and novice teachers learning. So I mean pre-service teachers and in-service teachers can learn together, because they have a different strength, like
Yeah.
pre-service teachers are young, energetic, they can learn technology tools quite quickly. But experienced teachers, they have lots of teaching experience. Okay. So we can maybe put them together. They can collaborate, design a lesson, no problem.
Okay. So it's kind of an inclusive
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
that's right.
activity where we
Yeah,
can have more
yeah,
experienced and less experienced teachers.
yeah, that's right.
Right. Okay, I like that. And also there is a follow-up questions like as teachers in these trainings may become increasingly from Gen Z. So yeah, probably younger and younger language teachers, I suppose, from this Gen Z
Yeah,
generation. Uh, um, so she asks whether having more exposure to AI, do you think may impact the type of results that you show here? I suppose that the implication is that Gen Z kind of generation will be more prone to this sort of multimodal, multimedia kind of Gen I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah, I understand what you mean. Indeed, most of the teachers participants who contribute a lesson to us are kind of like young teachers, Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, because they are quite, they're smart, and they figured out, how to use these tools quite easily, right? Okay. Um, but I think actually, there's also, a kind of a dilemma faced by those, maybe like generally speaking, those more experienced teachers, right? Who are very busy, we do not have time to learn to use these tools. So that's why we try to, my suggestion is we have to, like device, provide, suitable, user, like maybe friendly, TBD programs for them, right? Okay. Actually, learning technology can be easy, we can select, easy to use technology with them, right? Because there are many, Gen AI tools, multimodal Gen AI tools, right? Like when we choose our, corporate websites and recommend them to teachers, we chose those easy to use, those can be relatively operated, it's not that too complicated. I don't think we'll try to introduce like sketch engine. So first, it's not free, and then it's too complicated, right? Okay, so we can just introduce carefully select tools, multimodal Gen AI tools to our teachers. For example, like just let's talk about like our this year's CBLP training workshops. We actually introduced an expert who introduced a range of AI tools for teachers, language teachers to use. Usually these tools are quite easy to follow, you see. And I think next year perhaps we're going to, I think it's Dr. Nelly Deutsch. Okay, I think we'll perhaps invite her again. Okay, yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you, Angel. We have a question from Lawrence Anthony. Lawrence, since you can't speak, do you want to share the question and the framing of the question, or shall I do it myself?
No, I can ask it as well, although it's just exactly what I just wrote there. Yeah, so the talk today, of course, focused on CBLP, but I'm sure a lot of the audience will be very familiar with DDL, but not necessarily CBLP. So if we think of DDL as an approach to language teaching and learning using corpora, which is what I think the standard definition is, how would CBLP differ from that, perhaps in scope?
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned maybe briefly at the beginning. For me, I think DDL. I think Corpus linguists started DDL. They started training language learners themselves, right? Without like language teachers. I think in DDL we're seen as like a middleman. But in CBLP, we think actually this is essential. I mean, teachers can have more influence on their students. So in our CBLP, our emphasis is on teachers. Primary, we train teachers how to use Corpus technology. First, they have learned how to operate some like Corpus technology, like maybe Encom, how to use it. Okay, and later they think of ways, how to integrate AI. Sorry, like Encom into designing some meaningful teaching activities. Actually, I think after introducing Encom, I think in 2023, several teachers used Encom and designed CBLP lessons. And then they tackle not only just very simple like low-level linguistic skills, but also like critical reading skills using Encom. So I think actually this is like, so in CBLP I frame it as like a TPAC, technological pedagogical content knowledge.
Okay. So I think people would consider DDL to be a learner-focused approach. Of
That's
course,
right.
when it was first introduced by Tim Johns, he was there and he created all of the material. So there was certainly a role for the teacher, and it was to basically guide the learners to make their discoveries. So from what you're just saying there, is it then something like a teaching-focused approach to
I think
Corpus use in the
actually
classroom?
most teachers who can do DDLs because most by university teachers, right? They are familiar with Corpus technology. They have the interest, or maybe they are even researchers. But my target is different. My target is just those non Corpus specialists, ordinary classroom teachers like primary, secondary school teachers, okay, who know little about Corpus. Okay.
Okay, I think I understand. So it's certainly a more teaching focused perspective on
That's right.
the use of corpora in the classroom.
Pedagogy. I think the key word is pedagogy, right? I mean, even we have good language skills, it doesn't mean we are necessary. We can be good language teachers, right?
Yeah, I would still say that DDL is a pedagogy in the sense that it's a language and teaching. It's an approach to language teaching and learning. So I'm not sure that DDL doesn't have any pedagogy involved. So, but I think this, from what I'm hearing, it's the shift from a very learner-focused approach where the teacher basically invites the students to do everything. Whereas in CBLP, we get a more of a teacher-focused approach where the teacher is, certainly in terms of training, a teacher-focused training approach, maybe. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah, I think if I may say something here very quickly,
Yeah.
I also feel that data-driven learning, DDL, if you like, also has pedagogy kind of involved there. Of course, I suppose there's different approaches to DDL as well. Yeah, the way I understand, well, Angel is here, so she's you know, but the way I understand the type of pedagogy which is fostered by this approach is that teachers are, in a way, they find TPAC as an opportunity to integrate corpus-based language pedagogy or corpus literacy or corpus-related type of work. And of course, I think, yeah, this is a very interesting topic. I feel that there is a little bit of terminology involved here. But yeah, I think what I really like about Angel's research is that I've myself have written about this one, or I'm thinking about Angela Chambers' seminal papers on the lack of engagement from language teachers. We have something here which is speaking to those language teachers we've been missing probably in corpus-based pedagogy or data-driven learning for many years. So yeah, I really find that very, very useful. So well, we have other questions here. There is one question here on ethics, which is interesting. Ethics is part of the kind of literacy approach that you embrace, Angel. So how do you go about integrating ethics? And I suppose the question is, and using sources from Gen AI. I don't know, maybe that's a very general question, but maybe you can also tell us a little bit about that. Like, how do you conceptualize ethics in your kind of literacy approach?
Well, I think at this stage, I think it's just I think actually our approach is quite basic. Just invite teachers to be aware of the ethical issues involved. For example, like I think actually maybe this is more relevant to the ChatGPT. For example, like Gen AI text-based, right? And because when we like ask Gen AI to produce some text, actually we don't know, for example, like the source of the data, right? But I think for if in the context of multimodal Gen AI literacy, I think actually maybe it's less, I mean, I think actually maybe compare with text, generated by Gen AI, image generated by Gen AI. I think maybe it's kind of the issue is less critical. I don't know whether you agree or not, but I also am aware, like some publishers, they don't accept AI generated images, right? So recently, we send our book to Springer, and then we use some AI tool to generate some images, and they don't like it, this idea. So we have to remove those, images generated by AI. Okay,
Oh
but
yes,
I think
Springer.
actually,
No, sorry,
yeah,
Angel. Go on.
yeah. But I think actually, I mean, for language teaching, because we just used quick Gen AI, like generate some images for our teaching, right? We're not selling anything. So right, I think it should be okay. But maybe you can just let students know, okay, it's generated by AI. But actually, students are very smart. They know it's generated by AI, right? So they are also using that, images generated by AI, right? Because you know that image generated by AI can also be, I think, recognized quite, easily, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we have so many thank you messages here over the chat. And I know probably, of course, you didn't have the time to go through this, Angel, but yeah, the general feeling is that people enjoyed your presentation so much. I also, Kat said, we're always willing to wake up at 5 a.m. for research webinars. So I want Kat in my team, right? If you wake up at 5 for a research webinar. Yeah. Okay, so also thanks to other people that sort of share questions. Tom, Conrad, Esperanza, Roman. Yeah, so very, interesting people in terms of technology, language education. But I'm afraid we don't have the time now to extend these Q&A. So, Angel, thank you so much for sharing
thank
your
you.
research with us today. It's been an absolute privilege to listen to you today. Guys, don't forget to stay tuned. Lawrence is coming up next later in the month, and I think thanks to your generosity with your time and with your willingness to share your research, guys, I think we've come up with an excellent lineup of researchers in this series this year, 2025. Also, thanks to Peter that joined today. So yeah, it's been great to see you all again, and stay tuned. We'll see you again very soon. And thanks everyone that joined us from every corner of the world today. It is just so inspiring to see people everywhere 24/7, just having coffee or having dinner with us in these sessions. So see you soon, guys. Take care. And Angel, thank you so much again for your
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Okay.